Well, depending on how this deadline day goes, I may well have to eat these words within about 10 minutes. But for now, isn't it great to have a good director of football? They can do well in FM23. We've had a productive January so far. With Hoffenheim away to come at the weekend, one of the big boys in the Bundesliga, we might have to get the time wasting out again. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 142 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. I've got the sniffles today, so you have to accept my apologies for any words that go awry. But we are back today for January deadline day, a big game away at 4th place Hoffenheim, and hopefully to reflect on more good work from a director of football. It's been a productive month off the pitch, and the only thing that's really gone wrong is something I have to take the blame for. We've dropped 2 points in the Bundesliga, which you can see has left us adrift of Bayern Munich, and that is due to my mismanagement rather than anything our director of football's done. He's given us ammunition, he's improved the squad, he's done everything he can. And if today goes as well as the rest of the month has, I'm going to have no excuse come the end of this month. If you're looking forward to seeing what he's done so far and how we've been getting on in the last month or so, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. It has been a very productive month in the transfer window, and we've got to start with that because I'm pretty impressed with what's happened. It's probably better than I could have imagined a best case scenario being, and that is always a good sign in a head coach save. You don't get it too often, so we're going to make the most of it. Let's go through to the transfers where you can see lots of staffing additions coming in now, which is great, getting a few more added to the club. But one is potentially coming in is a wonder kid, Manfred Kraft from Wolfsberger. He's a young striker with bundles of potential, and hopefully he'll do well. Got loads of goals in loads of caps for Austria. That league is loaded and he's doing really well in it. And to be fair to him, it looks like he's going back on loan for the rest of the season, so he's going to finish the job off there. That's not the important bit of news though. The big news is what's been done, because not only has it been brilliant additions, it's been really good financial management as well, which he has to take a huge amount of credit for, Sebastian Kell. He's actually out of contract this summer. Be just my luck if he's then released from the club just as he's doing brilliantly. So as you know, in the summer after we joined, there were no real big departures, bar maybe Marcel Kraus on loan, but no permanent ones. Ruben Almeida went to Saudi midway through the autumn period, so we needed to get a replacement for him in midfield. Zach Ruff, a youngster, also left at the start of January. He was one of those American fullbacks we got for free, and he was sold on for money, so can't really complain. Of the two American fullbacks he bought in this summer, he was the least good of the two. We then had Adrian Aslani, who was out on loan earlier in the year, went to Bayer Leverkusen, came back in January. He's now gone out to Feyenoord, and hopefully he does well there. And then Martin Edtold, who came on in a couple of games earlier in the autumn, he has gone out on loan to Bursaspor. But the other big deal that happened in the summer was just before we joined the club. It was already agreed and it went through the work permit. Fabian Hellman went to United for the 60-odd million quid, our former club. He's playing there. He's ahead of Isaac Simmons, which is interesting. But it is the only position we didn't really get a replacement in the summer. Well, that has changed now. Let's have a look at the ins this month. One of them was a pre-agreed youngster, which was Islam Faziev. He comes in on a free agent deal. He's an 18-year-old Uzbekistan international. He's not great, but we'll see if he develops. Then we've got 3 signings this month. One of them is a little youngster. We'll start with him. Jonathan Bank from Horsens in Denmark. He's 17. He's got plenty of potential. Don't rule him out making first team level. Not the best personality in the world, but a very good young footballer. Then we get to 2 big additions who I am incredibly excited about. We start with Daniel Brewerton from Wolves. 31 million quid. This offer went in right at the start of the window. He is a super number 10, a better backup striker than Mugnai, and he offers Sniper a bit of rotation who can't really stay fit. I mean, this is a very good deal. He's 21, he's a Welsh international, he's not on the biggest wage, and he's already described as an elite forward. He's played very well in 3 appearances for us so far, allows us to play Sniper deeper, allows us to give Canales a rest or play him off the right. He just adds a real bit of depth to the squad, and you can see he is a massive player with even bigger potential. Great personality too, a really good addition. I could not have been happier with that start to the window. When you consider where we had the injuries this year, the fact that we lost Almeida as well and Kraus on deadline day, it really does make it a good addition to add strength in depth. But it's not as good as this guy, who I must concede was the director of football's second choice. He tried to sign a left back for a lot more, who ended up going to Inter Milan, I think it was. But it's ended up being a blessing in disguise because this guy is incredible. Now, the name I'm probably going to struggle with a bit. Alf Einar Sharansson Skal. How was that? Hopefully not too bad. We're going to call him Alf Skal for now. He comes in from Bodo Glimt for 6 million quid. He is a wonder kid. He is a 2-footed left back. He's good enough to play centre half and hold in midfield. This boy has got the lot. At 20 years of age, he's already a Norwegian international. He's 3-star ability. He's 4.5 potential. And where Van der Pluim has nailed down that left back spot, we've now got a backup ball winning midfielder, which is just a brilliant option. He's a leader, he's determined, he's a great personality, he works his backside off and he's naturally fit. I mean, this for me is a bit of a dream signing, and I am thrilled to have him at this football club. What's a signing director of football when you consider that he sold Hellman for 50 to 60 million and gets this guy in for a tenth of the price? You have got to say, we have got a good one here. Now, deadline day might ruin that because we have got 15 hours to go. In fact, it's not. It closes at 6 o'clock, so we've only got 10 hours to worry about. Hopefully less time to sell the stars. But then will they end up going after the window shuts to England? Could cause more problems than it saves. Let's see what happens for the rest of this day. I'm not too excited about some of those being linked with moves out. But as we know, this screen is normally useless, so let's hope it stays that way today. We're going to take part in deadline day. Let's have a quick look at the other message about a quiet day expected. A star man expected out of Wolfsburg to Real Madrid, and we have been linked with João Pinto, who is a goalkeeper from Mainz. I'm not sure we need him, to be honest with you, but I do worry about Van der Pluim. We've got a very good replacement, as you've seen, but for 50 million quid, I think we could get more than that. There is a better fullback in there than the price is suggesting. So let's go and get through the rest of this day. Fingers crossed there's no big drama, and if there's not, our director of football is a legend. Well, we've got our first problem of the day, and it only took about an hour to arise. Steinkert has been getting offers from Hoffenheim or window. They keep getting rejected. They're less than, a third of his value? It does seem a little bit off. But this is the big one. Bayern made an offer for Aselo and Keeley, who is 34 now and starting to decline. With what we've signed, I wouldn't be devastated to lose him. He's been a good player for us this year, but we could well drop Znaiber into his role and get a bit of money for this guy, so it wouldn't be devastating. He has thrown his toys out the pram. Sebastian Kell has agreed to sell him, so this offer, I presume, will have been accepted. Yes, it has. 5.5 million quid, 150 grand a week off the wage bill, and a very good player, but one that's on the decline and one that is no longer in our first 11. The next Steinker offer is rejected as well. He's worth 26.5 million, so as long as the offers are around there, I can't see them being accepted. They're saying he's got a future at the club anyway, so I think it will just be Keeley off, but potentially, that's not the worst one in the world. Well, there it is, 4 hours into the day, and Keeley has moved to Bayern Munich, which you could argue strengthens the squad of our main title rivals, but they're giving us money for a 34-year-old. They're not going to get a sell-on value from him. And they've freed up 150 grand of wages for us, and they're still paying him 100 a week. So as long as they aren't going to gain loads of other players on deadline day, I'm not devastated by that. What have Bayern done so far this window? Okay, they've spent 74 million quid on a right winger from Villarreal, was that? Yep, and he is better than most of our ones. They've also spent 10 million on a kid from Young Boys at 17. He's going to become the best striker in the world. There's no doubt about that. He is exceptional. And then if we look at the players out this month, they've let one go to Hoffenheim's youth team and Sardon has gone to Arsenal. Okay, so that's probably a like-for-like replacement with Keeley. That makes a bit more sense now. Let's go and get through the rest of the day. Hopefully, there's no more news. Well, in a few minutes' time, we were going to get to the schedule review, see the fixtures and all of that. And the big positive I was going to take from it is that Znaiber had stayed fit. Well, now he's got a cold and he's going home for a few days. I should mention a few other bits of news today as well. Steinkert, another offer rejected. It's up to about half of his market value now. Kraft, that under-18 striker we talked about, is the second player this month to reject us for Inter. Let me show you that other left-back while we're here very quickly. There he is, Achille Ernst, the 20-year-old Belgium. Very good again. But is he better than the one we got? Probably not. and he cost a quarter of the price. This guy was about 30 million. Yeah, so not too bad at the moment. No sign of anyone coming in. And at the moment, all the other offers are getting rejected. So it's not a bad day so far. Well, 1 hour of our window to go, and it's great to see that a director of football knows how to reject offers, because John Murtow just didn't do that for us. Whereas fortunately here, Sebastian Kell is. Steincup, we're now up to 20 million, still getting rejected. Gaeta, we had an offer for nearly 20 million, rejected as well. And with an hour to go, we should be all right. I'm a bit worried about the rest of the evening, where the other clubs will be able to make offers and we can't replace them. But touch wood, for now it looks okay. And this has been relatively stress-free, which we've not been able to say for a long time. Well, the Bundesliga deadline has passed, and you've got to say, if we get to the end of the evening and nothing else happens in terms of outs, this is a very good day. And Keeley is basically like for like with Brewerton. We're going to drop Sniber into the deeper role, and Brewerton will be the replacement, an elite 21-year-old for a 34-year-old veteran. And then we've brought in a 20-year-old wonder kid for not much money, and he's going to be a great option in a position we needed cover. I mean, this has been a good day so far. You can see further up as well, we've got the second highest wage demands in the Bundesliga, no shock there. The Bundesliga transfer window roundup, Bayern spent the most on that incredible winger. Wolfsburg signed a big player from Bournemouth. And Kovac has gone to Bournemouth, a striker, and we're getting £1 million for it. Looks like a good young Croatian striker. We're getting a bit of money there. Oh, we got 9.5 up front and another 1.1 million on top. So that is a big addition to the transfer budget. Still absolutely bucket loads of it. The director of football is finding good players, so I can't complain at the minute. Let's go and get through the Saturday. We'll review the schedule when we get there as well. It's a big game away at Hoffenheim. We need to win it to stay in the race. Well, we're back on a Saturday after a very quiet week, and let's be honest here, Bayern have frustrated us for the 10th or so time this season. Another one of those 1-0 wins that they've clung on to, and again, they extend their lead to 5 points, and we have now got a very tough game. Albeit we've got a friendly run of fixtures after this. If we fall 5 behind, it's going to be very hard to catch them. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for what's been going on in recent weeks via a quick couple of news items from the rest of deadline day. We have managed to get all 3 of our new signings in the Champions League squad, and at the end of Tuesday, we almost, and I lost the message momentarily there, lost Leonid Gruznov at the end of his contract. He's out at the end of the year, he wants to leave the club. I've taken him out of the Champions League squad as well, but he rejected Tottenham, so he's not going to be going there. Let's go and get through to the schedule though, see what's been going on. And it is a case of 2 crucial drop points since the last episode. We bounced back from the Bayern defeat with a 3-0 win against Leverkusen, 1 for Nlapo, who is suspended today, and 2 for Luis Canales. But then we came back after the winter break, and I misjudged things. I didn't get people up to speed enough. I was so worried about getting them the rest because they were all knackered before that I didn't get enough of them involved in the B team friendlies, and in the end it came back to haunt us. Not a great performance, not really deserving of a big win. Maybe we could have nicked it on another day, but if we're being honest, it was a fair result. A 0-0 draw there, and our defence actually our best players on the day. The 2-0 win against Hertha Berlin was better though, both goals by Luis Canales. A reserve team played at home to Pogon in a Champions League with Giovanni Mulder, one of the few first teamers in, and Jarno, the young left winger, coming on to score another. At Gladbach, it was a 2-1 victory with Canales and Koomson getting the goals before a 3-1 win at home to Roma, 2 for Canales, 1 for Giovanni Mulder. And then a 2-1 win at home to Hamburg last weekend thanks to Koomson and Canales who got the goals. Now we go away to Hoffenheim, home to Wolfsburg, then we've got a much friendlier run of fixtures. Yes, we've got the Champions League returning. We'll have Braunschweig, Cologne, Schalke, Mainz, Augsburg, Duisburg. We'd expect to win a lot of them. And then we go into 5 final big games. Can we stay in touching distance for that point? Can we be in with a sniff when we play Bayern at home? That's what I want to know. Well, to do that, we're probably going to need a result today. And ideally, we need it to be a victory. Let's go and have a look at the lineup we're up against. Makoko, one of the top scorers in the division this year. He is a super player at 29 years of age. And further back, any names we recognise? I don't think so. So let's just go and get our team picked. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, Sniber has just about recovered from his cold, and that is the big change due to what's happened this month. And Keeley has left. Sniber has dropped into that defensive role, and now Brewerton is the number 10. Seems to be suiting both better at the minute and hopefully is less of a physical exertion on Sniper. We'll see as the season goes on if that remains the case. Gator is in at centre-half today because Nlapo has got a one-game suspension. Steinker's back in at right-back. He missed a game last weekend. The rest of it is first choice. It's what you would expect. The bench is looking a bit stronger than normal, which is great to see. But our 11 for this game is Elijah Smith in goal. Steinker and Van der Pluim the fullbacks with Merville and Gator at centre-half. Joaquin and Sniper are the new defensive midfield too. Coombson and Mulder are out wide. And Brewerton, the big January signing, behind Louis Canales up front. The other January signing, Scow, is on the bench. A lot of first-teamers as well. We're not having to dip into the youth team this time. We've even got some experience if we need it. So let's go and submit the team for Hoffenheim away. A very tricky game in the Bundesliga, but we're one win away from being right back in the title race. Well, here we go then. It is Rafael Marquez, the former Mexican defender, who is in charge of Hoffenheim, a good manager as well. Makoko up front, we've mentioned, is the star man. Orozco, that name rings a bell as well. But let's ask the lads to prove a point. We've got most of them happy, but what we need now is a big first half performance. We struggled in other games to do that. If we can get some early goals, we can then sit back and hopefully enjoy the day. The touchline tablet's on its move again. After Bayern nicked a 1-0 win, we need to try and get one as well, as Mulder puts a cross in from a free kick, headed away as far as Merville, back into the danger zone. Is someone going to get on the end of this? It's back to Giovanni Mulder, across goal to Canales, deflects up, and straight into the arms of Walker. The goalkeeper happy to grasp that one, and he's going to go for the big kick as well. Are we vulnerable to the counter? Yes, we are. It's flicked on for Makoko. Not like this. It's a great save, Smith. Brilliant goalkeeping from Elijah Smith. But it is so alarming how easily they got in there. A straight kick from the goalkeeper. We not got back in shape from the set piece, and it almost cost us an opening goal. Now can we get away ourselves? It's Orozco out to Allen. Was he onside? No, he wasn't. He was off. It's a free kick, and it's a respite. But one good chance at each end, and Hoffenheim probably will be happier with the start of the minute. We're going to encourage the lads with 15 gone. We are getting outplayed. I wonder if we drop to balanced. It hasn't generally worked for us this season, but I do feel we're getting overrun a bit. So this time I'm going to do it. Just try and calm the game down. Half an hour gone, and from a highlight point of view, that does seem to be the case, but is a draw going to be good enough for us? Probably not. And you can see we've not got much attacking threat now. At half time, it is going to remain goalless. I'm not sure in these big away games, again as we had at United, how to unlock that door without conceding bucket loads of goals. We're still struggling with fitness a bit, particularly for Sniper. And now, going into the second half, it is Hoffenheim on the front foot. Orozco with a head up, which is comfortably over. I mean, they're not having any good chances either. But without that experience on the bench, we might struggle a little bit more. Sniper has now picked up another injury. I don't know what the curse is. I really don't know what the curse is on that lad. It's out to Van der Pluim at left back and Sniper. He'll be coming off in a minute, but for now, passes to Joaquin. Support from Brewerton, the new boy, up to Canales. Tries to release Mulder, but the pass is, well, atrocious if we're being honest. And it's back to the Hoffenheim centre-half, who goes long over the top. Soon as they win that first header, they're in. And the problem is, we're both going up to get Makoko and win that header. I need to see what the assistant has put on here, because something's not working. They've got this guy being closed down. But no, it's not anyone particularly marking him, so I don't know why both centre-halves are going in for the header with him. What I think we're going to need to do with Makoko is say that someone needs to stay on him. I'm going to set that up so we don't get the other centre-half dragged out away from his position, and hopefully that will help us the rest of the game. Some changes to be made too. Sniper has got an injury. He wants to play on, but I can't risk it. He keeps missing games because of it, and we cannot afford that. So he's going to be replaced by, I think Kelvin Santos is the best option, and he'll come on as the deep line playmaker. Let me go and get that marking thing done, and we'll be back in a minute to see the changes. Well, with an hour gone, we set up all those marking changes, and now Makoko's gone off, and he's been replaced weirdly by Daniel Williams, who I didn't recognise at the start. He is the right winger who played one game with us for England, but was never getting in the Bayern team, so we couldn't keep him in the squad. We are struggling with a few tired legs and poor performers here. I'm going to give it 5 more minutes though, as I don't want to get caught out. You can see from the stats that we are starting to have the better of this, but I think now we do need to make some changes. We've got Joaquin really struggling. He's going to be replaced by Scal, the new man, who is that ball-winning midfielder now. We're also going to take off Brewerton, who's struggling for fitness. The experienced Cardon is on for him. And then off the wings, what do we go for? Mugnai is there. Gruznov's there. Olaizola is an option, but I'm going to leave it for now. Keep the best players on the pitch for as long as possible. We've made 3 changes. We're having the better of the second half. I'm not sure we're going to find that victory. With 9 minutes to go, Mugnai will come on off the right-hand side. And at full-back, Van der Ploeg's struggling, but Steinker's not had a great game either. So on comes Orbert, a bit more defensively solid and will allow us to push on if need be. With 5 to go, I'm going to go back to positive after this highlight, as Merville gets it to Gaeta and Orbert. That marking plan does seem to have touched woodwork better so far, as the long ball to Canales is so simple. And I've got to say it in fairness, I mentioned last episode that he never rounds the keeper. Must have done it at least 5 times since. It's a big goal. It's a huge win if we can pull it off. And with a couple of minutes of extra time to be added on, how many have we got? We've got 5 added. We're going to go defensive now. We are going to get the fullbacks onto defensive duties. Make sure they are solid and they are defensive where possible. We're going to go for a defensive midfielder on defend. We're going to put Mulder back as a traditional left winger on support. We're going to put Mugnai back as the same, even though I know he can't do it. Cardon will go into central midfield and just be a supportive playmaker from there. We're going to time waste all of the time. We're not going to play out of defence. And of course, we are going to go a bit slower with the distribution and hold our shape when we win the ball as well. No need for us to be very aggressive now. Let's just get the job done. Don't press their goalkeeper either. There's no need for that. Let's just make sure we hold on for this 1-0. Bayern have done it so many times this season. And if we want to be champions, we've got to do the same. And that is a huge win. After the disappointment at Bayern in the last episode, the disappointment in the first half of this one, that is a brilliant outcome. A couple of huge saves from Elijah Smith, a big goal from Canales, and a really solid performance defensively. Of course, we are going to have to play better at times, but that is an absolutely crucial result. A really big 3 points to close the gap to 2. And now we are back in a title race. A good deadline day, a good performance. We just need to hope the Znaiber injury isn't bad. And this has been a pretty good episode. Well, with some big additions and the gap back to 2, we are happy at the end of this one. What is the Znaiber injury and what is Marquez moaning about? Oh, we got the better of him in the build-up. We must have said something to rattle his cage. Znaiber is only out for 1 to 3 days because we got him off early, which is great. Canales is running away with the golden boot. Having a striker with 20 composure is really lovely, by the way. I'd argue it's more important than the finishing now. If we go and have a look at the schedule, though, we've basically got 2 options for when we're going to be back. In terms of Bundesliga games, after the Wolfsburg one, we've not really got any big ones till that final 5, and of course the last 2 are huge. So I think what we're going to do is come back for one of the legs of the Champions League last 16. I've no idea who we're going to face, but of course we're in the top 8, so we skip the next round. And then we'll show one of the Bundesliga games around it. Or if it's a huge tie, we'll show both legs of the Champions League. Hopefully you're looking forward to that. Let me know in the comments what you thought of that deadline day. A director of football who's done a window well. Oh, I've missed this. And it just proves it can be done. And John Murtaugh was a dud. If you're looking forward to the rest of the season and you did enjoy that huge late win away at Hoffenheim, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM23 content from 2 long-term stories. We've got big ones to come from the Builder Nation. It is transfer special day tomorrow. I hope you'll come and join me for that. There's also links in the eye above to the latest top 3 and my reaction video to your best FM superstitions. And of course, there's also the football podcast, the Twitch channel, so much more. All the links in the description below. But thank you very much for watching. Your support is always appreciated. And I'll see you back here next time as Champions League football returns.